fresh off a significant victory over UMass, one we've been needing all season long to help catapult us back into the top 25. We're moving forward to the following week, and we have ourselves yet another three-star commit, cornerback Stephen Pitts out of Middletown, Delaware. So as you see, we're not only getting big-time victories on the field, we're getting big-time victories off the field. And look at this. Look at what we have here. We have made it back into the top 25. I did not anticipate this happening this soon, especially given the minimal margin of victory we've been having over some of our conference opponents here recently. I thought it would take a little bit more and we wouldn't see ourselves potentially getting into the top 25 until near the end of the season. But here we are, not only in the top 25, we're not barely in the top 25. We're not 25, we're not 24. We catapulted into 22 off of that 63-10 victory over UMass, one where you had the defense and the offense come together. I'm sure we'll have both offensive and defensive players of the week. And just as I'm speaking of it, here you have it. Sergio Suggs having himself yet another massive game, getting MAC Defensive Player of the Week, 1 interception, 4 tackles, 1 pass deflection. He's continuing to stack up those games. And Terrion Martin, again, another outstanding performance. MAC Offensive Player of the Week, 18 carries, 171 yards, 9 yards a carry. But that wasn't enough to give him the National Offensive Player of the Week. This week's matchup, we are facing off against Bowling Green. They have a 57 overall. UMass had a 55 overall. So we should fully anticipate that, especially with us playing at home, we should be able to put on a repeat performance. But only time will tell. This week's top stories, we have a Southwest rivalry classic between Texas A&M, number 7 Texas A&M, facing off against number 17 Arkansas. Then you have the offensive player of the game for Rutgers, Cameron Montero, ended up with 7 catches, 73 yards, and 3 TDs. And then you had a rivalry game that finished in OT by a narrow margin of Texas A&M by 31-29 over LSU. An offensive player of the game for Clemson, John Corker, had 9 catches for 131 yards, 0 TDs. So with all that being said and done, let's go ahead and jump straight into this recruiting. We have 100 hours to work with. As you know, we did have a commit in Stephen Pitts. So, I like to move my commits all the way down to the bottom of my recruiting board. But then we'll have to remove the players that have us locked out or the recruits that have us knocked out, like Nelson Cherry. And then I think it's Devontae Lindsay had us locked out as well. Yeah, Devontae Lindsay had us locked out. So we'll remove them from the board. And then we'll start moving our favorite prospects to the top of the board, or prospects that have us at least either number 1 or in their top 3 or top 5. So let's navigate through that, and then we'll spend our 100 hours wisely. So let's see. Samaya has a second. Collier has us first. So we'll move him up. We only have 10 hours allocated towards him. So we'll probably invest some time in him as well. Let's see who else we got. Potts, my bad. Glenn Potts. We'll go ahead and we'll move him as well. Samaya. Let's see. Dewey. Yeah, he can get moved to the top. He's got us as his number 1 destination, number 1 preferred destination. So Brahms, we'll move him up as well. Let's see what we got. Bobby Drake. Let's go ahead and move him near the top of our recruiting board, as he has us as his top preferred university. And we're actually, up until this point, the only school that has offered him a scholarship. Likewise with Larry Abram. And as you can tell with a lot of these prospects that have us as their top preferred destination that we're moving to the top of our recruiting board, we only have 10 hours allocated for them, which is a big plus, a great sign that they have us first as their top preferred destination. Although Ryan Wegman, we were higher up, he has fallen. So what that means is we're going to have to go in here and we're going to have to adjust some things. We're going to have to change some stuff up, remove friends and family. We'll probably go ahead and send a house for him. We don't have the ability to schedule a visit thus far, but sending the house should be able to give us that little bit of an extra boost. We hope so, as we are trying to actually bring in more 4-star players to improve this university, improve the prestige, and so on and so forth. So Merrill, he has us as his top preferred destination as well. Let's see what else we got. Crosby, we're first by a narrow margin with him. I can see us going ahead and altering and adjusting some things for him. So we'll go ahead and schedule a visit here. Playing time seems to be the go, because that's the one of the only 3 green checks that he has that we actually have an A+ for. So that's good there. We can go ahead and move him near the top of our list. We already have 50 hours allocated towards him. So like I said, not necessarily somebody we have to move all the way to the top. The guys we're focusing on near the top are guys we don't really have a ton of hours invested in. Kilroy, we have 35 hours invested in him, but again, somebody we want to highlight and target. Katz, we're in a good position with him. We only have 25 hours. We may or may not remove some time from him to be able to allocate towards other players. So we're in second with Patelli, whatever his name is. Parker, center, he's a 4-star. We want to make some adjustments here as well. Should I schedule a visit or remove social media? I think I'll remove search social media and try to see if we can send the house for him. So we're good there. We got 15 hours left with. I might revisit a visit later on with him. We're gonna focus on people like Sam Dahl, who has a second, and we're one of 2 teams that actually have offered him a scholarship thus far. So let's go ahead and search social media for him. What else we got? Potts. Let's see. We got 10 hours left. So we'll go ahead and search social media. Matter of fact, he only needs 10 hours to schedule a visit. So we'll remove search social media and we'll go ahead and schedule a visit. And although nothing that he has a green check by actually has an A+, do we actually have an A+? But we do have a couple B's, one being a B+ in coach prestige. So we'll go ahead and we'll schedule a visit pertaining to the coach prestige. And that should do it for this week for the recruiting aspect of everything else. So I think we had a record broken. Oh no, that's players of the week. I'm tripping. I don't know why I thought we had a record broken. But Sterling Davis for Florida Atlantic with an outstanding game. Now I see why we didn't have the offensive player of the week. He had 12 catches for 258 yards and 2 receiving TDs. So we're already at 7 minutes. No need to waste any more time. If I get into the gameplay action, this video will be well over 20 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and end this right here. Next episode, we'll get into the gameplay against Bowling Green. But as always, if you're here for the first time or you're returning and you haven't liked or subscribed already, please do so. Click that notification tab so you can stay up to speed with more of this Kent State rebuild, as well as other College Football 26 content. Again, I appreciate you all for tuning in. That's been my time. Till next time. Peace.